welcome to another episode of Fabric Tech Talk Fridays. I'm Sweta. Today, we have got something exciting lined up for you. Secure and govern, mastering Microsoft Fabric for the enterprise with Purview. It's all about keeping your data safe and compliant, while still driving business innovation with Microsoft Fabric. We're thrilled to be joined by an expert who has been making waves in the world of data governance and security. Please welcome Casper from Microsoft. Casper, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Sweta. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I'm always very excited to really talk about these topics.
Wonderful. So why is this topic so important, Casper? And as businesses scale and grow, we know companies need to strike the right balance between secure access and governance while also not sacrificing innovation. So Microsoft Fabric is a powerful tool. We all know that. But how do you make sure it will stay secure and compliant?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's the core of the question, and that's why we're here today. Fabric is this SaaS platform, as we all have known. We've seen Arun present it. It's this platform designed from the ground up to help organizations do more with data. With that comes a lot of challenges, because lots of data coming in from all different sides, real-time data, more traditional data, on-premises, SaaS applications. Today, the majority of that data is locked away. In silos, in Azure, in PaaS services. But the world is changing. Like when you come out of university today, what do you know? You know Python, right?
Yep.
So you want to be able to do more with data. CIOs, we talk to them a lot in our team. They all say the same. We want to be able to do more with data in our organization. So Fabric allows us to do that. Fortunately, Fabric is secured to many layers of security, right? From network security to private links, intra-conditional access, workspace, data security, auditing. Many more features get released all the time. You'll have to invite me back next time to talk more about those.
Absolutely.
Today, I really want to focus on a feature that is really not well known. And this is a big surprise, because there are so much powerful functionalities and features. So today, I want to talk about Purview.
Perfect. That is great, Casper. Can you share a bit more about the specific tools or features that Purview gives us that will truly help the governance and security aspects? And also, if you can throw in some examples or real-world use cases, that will be super good for our audience to tune into.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a really good question. And the deal is really, Purview allows you to fortify your security even more. It's an additional layer on top of the already existing security that we have. And the most interesting part, and this is what I loved so much about this whole Purview integration, it is integrated with the entire Microsoft stack. All of our customers have M365, right? So everyone has Office, everyone has Teams, everyone wants to secure them. And that is what Purview allows you to do. It allows you to create a security across the entire estate. So Fabric contains, and you kind of asked that question, do we need Purview? You don't need Purview. But Purview allows you to create this layer on top. Fabric has everything you need within Fabric. So it allows you to create security rules, it creates you to do governance, but it is tied to just Fabric.
Got it.
What Purview allows us to bring is, okay, let's take it one step up. Let's take all these signals that are happening within my organization. Let's look at all that data that is sitting there around. And you can define these policies and govern across M365, Azure, and even third parties like AWS. You want to govern all of that in one cohesive story. And the best thing is, many customers are already paying for it. So if you see, and when I talk to customers, I ask them a lot, like, hey, when you open up Office, do you have this MIP label thing sitting on top of there? And most of the times they say, yeah, we have it. Do you have it in Fabric? No. I said, okay, maybe then you need to have a discussion with your security team and just turn it on. There's no additional security or cost that you need to pay. It is built inside of that cost structure that you already have. So you can use it to secure more of your data inside of Fabric.
That is really interesting. So if I understand it correctly, Casper, it's like a superset and a subset. Is that the right way to look at it from a Fabric and
in Fabric, you define security within Fabric itself. And we'll take a look at a few examples in a bit, where we really talk about, like, hey, how can you create a policy as an IT organization? How can you create awareness for people working with data? And data is not just Fabric.
Correct.
when you're uploading data to a SharePoint folder, you're also talking about data. When you're in a PowerPoint or in an email, you're also talking about data. So an IT organization has the capabilities to define that security across all those platforms, including Fabric. And this is very differentiating because no one else has this.
True, very true. Enough of all this talk. Casper, like Patrick always says, let's get to the laptop.
Yeah, so let's take a quick look at a quick demo for one of the features that we've had for a very, very, very long time. Even already in Power BI, this existed for many years. Many people don't know about it. And this is the feature that I usually talk about with customers that really should help your CFO sleep well at night. Okay, so let's take a quick look at this demo. All right, so let's talk about information protection policies. One of the most exciting features that we've had for so long, even in Power BI for like 10 years. So let's take a look at my lineage view here. Here I have a lakehouse in Fabric, and I notice there's no label set up, right? So I can go in here and set up a label that says like internal only. This means I know this data can only be used by people inside of my organization. First of all, I have awareness that this is data that I have to be careful with, but also automatically it populates to everything downstream. So my SQL endpoint, my semantic model, and even the Power BI report that I'm going to right now that is based on that lakehouse data is highly confidential. And because it's highly confidential, if I email it to someone who doesn't have access, immediately it gets permission required. You don't have access to this. Again, this additional layer of security. If I download data, okay, I export this data from a Power BI desktop file, I open it up inside of Excel, you will see that a policy travels. Again, now my Excel file is highly confidential.
That's nice.
I cannot email it to someone. I cannot forget it on the tube when I'm traveling. It's automatically secured by default.
This is amazing, Casper. But let me back up a little. So with Fabric, we think that, oh, users have a lot of control and they can work with the data themselves. How do they make sure we govern it?
Yeah, so a really good question. One of the most favorite features, and this is something that's come pretty recently, is we have something that's called data loss prevention policies. Again, this is a Purview feature. It's built into Purview and is shared across many different Microsoft products. We have this for Power BI today already. That already exists. It's been there for years. We also recently introduced it, I think probably a couple of months ago, we introduced this for Fabric Lakehouses too.
Nice.
So let's take a look at a quick demo for that.
Perfect.
So what we're doing here is we're going into the Purview portal, and here we're going to create a policy on top of Fabric and Power BI workspaces. That policy, what we're going to do here is we're going to say, hey, I want to make sure that when someone uploads data to Fabric, and they have credit card information in it, they get a message. The end user who's uploading the data is getting a message, and also we're going to send an email to the governance team. So here, let's take a look. I am creating a new lakehouse, and in this lakehouse, I am going to upload some data. So here's lakehouse, and now I'm going to create data flows Gen 2. I'm going to use a CSV file that contains some raw data. In this case, it's going to contain a financial summary data, and it does contain, of course, sensitive information. Something that we want people in our organization to be able to do, but they need to be careful of what they're doing, right? They need to think about it. And you see the credit card number is in here, which usually is something that we have to be really careful about. So if uploaded, and immediately see a warning in here, okay? It says, okay, your policy, your organization found a policy that needs your attention. So you can click on it. It sees, okay, automatically we have credit card information in here. We found the credit card numbers in here. An email has gone out to the governance team saying, hey, Sweta uploaded credit card information. Maybe you need to have a word with her. Is she doing the right things? And again, within the organization, we want people to be able to do that, but we want to make sure that they're also understanding this is what they can do with data, and this is how they can govern the right data. This is how they know how to handle this data.
No, this is really good. So now you really talked about a lot about integration with Purview and Fabric for your entire data estate.
Yeah.
So what does it look like?
Yeah, another great demo of this is, so the reason that the previous two demos were mostly about like, hey, we can use the same functionality that we also use, because the DLP policies you can also use in SharePoint.
Right.
You can also use in OneDrive. Now you can also use it in Fabric. There are more features inside of Purview that are really mind-blowing, if you ask me. for example, something called information insider risk management. So let's go and take a quick look at that. So here I am in the insider risk management portal in Purview, and there's lots of things going on here. But what does insider risk management do? Let's start there. Insider risk management creates a risk profile from people within the organization. You can configure it as much as you want within your organization, and it determines how risky people are to do things.
Okay.
And it could be things like data theft, for example. Okay, I see that this person is doing all these things. Maybe he is stealing data. Okay, we're not actually seeing him do anything, but we're building up a risk profile.
Got it.
And we're building up this risk profile, not just looking at Fabric, we're building up this risk profile from everything that he's doing within
The entire
Microsoft.
data estate.
Microsoft,
Got
completely.
it.
Let's take a look at an example. So here I have an alert. These are all the alerts that are happening. And here's an alert that says, okay, confidentiality obligation, there's an issue here. So we know this person is going to leave the company, okay? We know this out of events. So let's take a look at all the events that have generated this alert. So if you look at all the events, and it makes a really nice visualization here too of how this risk profile is being generated. And so you can see it's a cumulative exfiltration activities. So he created all kinds of things. First of all, HR knew he's going to resign. Okay, we know a date. Next, he's starting deleting some files from his machine. Okay, then he's printing files.
Wow.
Okay, interesting. Renaming files, potentially obfuscating, risky prompts entered in Copilot. But of course, we're talking about Fabric here, so let's scroll down there. Because also it is looking at Power BI and Fabric data. For example, here, he's accessing Power BI reports. He's downgrading sensitivity labels. Okay, we saw before the sensitivity labels. If you downgrade a sensitivity label, you need to enter a reason. Like, why am I doing this? So he's downgraded sensitivity labels. Then he's downloading Power BI reports, okay? Deleting Power BI reports. And all of this together builds up this risk profile that can even lead to, okay, this person is so risky, we're going to terminate his account immediately so he cannot log in anymore. Or emails get sent to the governance team like, hey, this person is leaving, I don't know what he's doing, but he's starting to exfiltrate data. So again, you can see here this very wide variety of insights that are being generated, not just with Fabric, but out of your entire estate. SharePoint, logging in, Entra, Purview, all of these events together are generating these insider risk management policies.
This is super powerful. Wow. When you walked me through, oh, he's downgrading the sensitivity labels, downloading, and it's all captured once you create that risk management. That is amazing. So I love how intuitive these tools are, and it is great to see that IT and security team really can define this extra layer of security on top of Fabric and make sure the data is more secure than ever.
Yeah.
This is cool.
And I think really the most important thing here is that I always want to say is, like, when I talk to customers, nobody knows this is there. Because the data team, I am a data guy. I've been doing data for 25 years. We know tables, we know relationships. We don't know much about security outside of row-level security, the one things that we always known and loved. So really, if you see these things, go talk to your security team. Go talk to, like, let them know these features are there. Let them know that this integrates with Fabric. Let them know, tell your CFO, like, hey, the example that I always give about MIP labels, which is my favorite example, is if you have a Power BI desktop file, okay? And on that Power BI desktop file, you put a MIP label, okay? You can define that you mandatory have to put a MIP label on, okay? If you put it on a USB stick and you forget it on the train, nobody can open it.
Wow.
And again, you don't have to pay extra for it. It is already there because your organization already has these labels set up for their organization. They just have to turn it on. But it's usually a different team, and that's where things get a bit difficult.
Right.
Like, it's usually a different team within the organization.
No, this is all great information, Casper. Just to sort of wrap things up, what is that one key takeaway you would want our viewers to remember about using Microsoft Fabric, especially to keep their data secure, governed at the enterprise level?
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, the Fabric allows you to do so much with data. You can connect to so many data, all of these in the single unified platform. The key takeaway is you have to think about it in two different ways. One, the security features that are already defined directly inside of Fabric itself, that's where you need to get started. But Purview and integrations like this allow you to create this much more broad security profile that you can create on top of that data to make it more secure. And also, I think this is the really core part. It allows more people in the organization to do more with data. Because now you're giving their hands like, hey, we allow people to upload data themselves to Fabric. How do I make sure that we're doing the right things? And again, here, this is where Purview comes in. And MIP labels, hey, people can download Power BI desktop files. Well, they're still secure. So that's really an important thing to think about.
Thank you so much for all the information, Casper. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. It's amazing to be here, and I love talking about this. I can keep talking all day long, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you found this video valuable, don't forget, hit that like button.
If this is your first time visiting the Microsoft Fabric YouTube channel, be sure to smash that subscribe button.
Drop a comment below on what you'd like to see on future episodes of Fabric Tech Talk Fridays.
That's it for today. See you all next Friday for another deep dive into Microsoft Fabric.